My name is Savannah. I'm 27 years old, and my existence is severed into two irreconcilable halves, like a coin with two different faces, welded together by the humid southern heat. From Monday to Thursday, I am the girl with the sugar-sweet smile who stands behind the glass counter of the Sweet Magnolia, the oldest, most respectable bakery in Willow Creek. Here, in this town that God seems to have forgotten but the sun refuses to leave alone, the air hangs heavy, thick with moisture and judgment. Time itself feels trapped, stagnant between the scent of rising sourdough and the red dust that coats the unpaved backroads. But before we continue, if you enjoy real-life stories that explore the dangerous boundaries of the human heart, we need your support. Help us reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers. Subscribe right now and hit that notification bell. I'd love to know what part of the world you're watching from. Leave it in the comments below. But when Friday arrives, when the orange sun finally sinks behind the pines, and the first chords of a slide guitar start snaking out of the local dive bars, I hang up my flour-dusted apron. I let my hair down from its tight bun, apply a coat of lipstick the color of sin, and I transform. Willow Creek is the kind of town where walls have ears, the cornfields have eyes, and the church pews are full on Sunday morning with the same people who sinned on Saturday night. Here, the thirst for cheap whiskey and the hunger for forbidden fruit are usually stronger than the fear of what will the neighbors say. My refuge, my temple of perdition, is a roadside joint called the Rusty Spur. It's a place where the ceiling fans lazily chop through clouds of cigarette smoke, and where conversations always end in challenges of honor or incredibly stupid bets. I have a reputation as a spitfire, a woman who doesn't lower her gaze when challenged. But a few weeks ago, I crossed an invisible line. I put something on the table that no lady should ever gamble, the key to the back door of my private property, and I lost. What started as a drunk joke turned into a night of sparks and friction, a vice that burrowed under my skin like a fever I can't shake. It all started on a Friday that felt like the inside of a furnace. The Rusty Spur was bursting at the seams. I was on my third shot of Kentucky bourbon, feeling the burn in my throat ignite my blood. I was laughing loudly with my best friend Daisy when Buck, known around town as the Wrench, approached our table. Buck is the town mechanic, a 30-year-old with hands permanently stained by grease, arms as thick as oak branches, and a crooked smile that screams trouble. "Savannah, you're lookin' mighty brave tonight," Buck drawled, shuffling a deck of cards with hypnotic skill. "Let's play a hand of Texas Hold'em. High card takes it. If I win, you unlock that back gate of yours, the one you keep so tightly guarded." He said it with a slow, southern drawl, a mixture of dirty joking and genuine desire that made the table go silent for a second. Everyone understood the metaphor. In Willow Creek, talking about the back gate or the service entrance has only one meaning when a man looks a woman up and down like that. The table erupted in nervous laughter, but I, with the fire of the bourbon clouding my judgment, felt a spike of adrenaline shoot through my belly. "You're on, Buck," I replied, slamming my shot glass down. "But if I win, you detail my truck for free for a month and change the oil. Deal, darlin'. Get ready to pay up." The cards flew onto the sticky wooden table. The sound of clinking glasses and the jukebox playing generic country rock seemed miles away. The only thing that existed was the duel of our eyes. I played aggressively, bluffing with a confidence I didn't feel, but luck that night was on the side of lust. I lost. I lost in a humiliating fashion, a pair of twos against his full house. Buck let out a husky laugh, stood up, and wiped his hands on his denim jeans. "Time to pay the piper, Savannah. Gambling debts are sacred in the South." My heart was hammering against my ribs, not from fear, but from an electric anticipation that made my knees weak. The heat of the night and Buck's dark, predatory stare pulled me like a magnet. "Let's go to the supply room," I whispered, standing up. I led him down the narrow hallway that leads to the bar's storage area, a dark place smelling of stale beer kegs and old pine wood. It was the perfect hiding spot. There, in the shadows, I kept my word. I unlocked the bolt to my back door. Buck didn't waste time. He brought his mechanic's tool, handling it with a technical prowess that left me breathless. There was no romance, no sweet nothings. This was a full-body tune-up. Every movement was rhythmic, brute, calculated, as if he were adjusting a rare part that had been rusted shut for years. I gripped the dusty shelves while he worked with a force that made the thin walls vibrate. I moaned, stifling the sounds into my own shoulder, feeling pleasure bloom in that forbidden territory like wild kudzu. Sweat soaked us both, mixing with the muffled sound of the bass from the band playing outside. "Savannah, this shop of yours is a gold mine," he growled at the end, leaving us both panting and trembling in the dark. We returned to the table with guilty smiles and wrinkled clothes. Old Barb, the owner of the rusty spur, shot me a hawk-like glare from behind the bar, the saum, kind that judges and knows everything, but she said nothing. However, in a small town, gossip travels faster than a fiber optic cable. Barely 30 minutes later, another acquaintance slid into the booth at my table. It was Chase, a delivery driver for the local parcel service. He's 28, always living in a rush, with restless eyes and the grin of a bad boy who never grew up. "Catalina, or should I say Savannah?" He corrected himself with a wink, chewing on a toothpick. "I heard luck isn't your lady tonight. I want my shot at the title." The bourbon had already done its work, and my sense of prudence had evaporated into the humid air. I accepted another round. The cards fell, and as if fate were pushing me off a cliff, I lost again. "The back entrance, right?" Chase said, his eyes gleaming in the neon light. I led him to the same dark hallway. This time, the experience was entirely different. If Buck was the brute force of a diesel engine, Chase was the speed of an express delivery. He opened the gate and entered with his agile vehicle, digging and exploring with a rapidity that made the floorboards shake. Every thrust was an electric spark. I found myself begging for more, completely addicted to that frantic energy, feeling the pleasure arrive like a priority package delivered ahead of schedule. "You're volatile terrain, Savannah," he whispered in my ear before finishing, leaving my legs feeling like jelly and my head spinning. The night, however, had a third surprise in store. Bo, the foreman of a large cattle ranch nearby, a 32-year-old man with calloused hands and the air of someone who breaks wild horses for breakfast, planted himself in front of me. "Savannah, I'm going to beat you, and then I'm going to test if that backfield can handle a real plow," he provoked, his voice deep and gravelly like a tractor engine. I lost again. In the darkness of the storeroom, I released the entry one more time. Bo had no subtleties. He brought his plow, heavy and firm, working the earth with a power that made the wood of the storage room creak like a fence in a tornado. Every movement was deep, intense, claiming the territory. I felt the pleasure grow like a bountiful harvest under a summer storm. "This is fertile soil, woman," he grunted, and we ended up drenched in sweat, the noise of the bar barely audible over our own ragged breathing. When we returned, my friend Daisy grabbed my arm with a grip that hurt. Her manicured nails dug into my skin. "Savannah, have you lost your mind? The whole bar is placing bets on you. Old Barb is furious. She says this isn't a brothel. Watch yourself." I ignored her. The alcohol was speaking louder than reason, but deep down, I knew the whole town was sharpening their knives. I left the bar that night with my body vibrating, sore but exquisitely alive, addicted to the adrenaline of the gamble, and with the certainty that my back door was in danger of becoming public domain. Saturday dawned with a sun that could crack stones, but my moral hangover was heavier than the heat. I spent the day dusting pastries and forcing smiles at church-going ladies, feeling the phantom friction of the night before. However, when night fell, the call of the rusty spur was irresistible. The Sweet Magnolia had closed, and Savannah the baker gave way once again to Savannah the gambler. Walking into the bar, I felt the stares. They were heavy, sticky, like molasses. But I sat at my usual table, ordered half a bottle of whiskey, and waited. It didn't take long. The rumor that Savannah's back patio was open to whoever held the winning hand had turned the place into a battlefield. The first to sit down was Wayne, a 34-year-old corn farmer, a man of few words and a calm gaze. "Savannah, they say the land needs working. I want to play." His smile promised a long season of planting. I accepted the challenge. The cards, my treacherous friends, failed me again. Or perhaps in my subconscious I wanted to lose. I led him to the hallway, which now seemed as familiar to me as my own bedroom. Wayne worked slowly. He tilled my back garden with patience, with long, deep movements, like someone planting for the future. There was no rush, just a devastating consistency that made me claw at the drywall. "Good land, Savannah. Anything will grow here," he said when he finished, wiping sweat from his forehead with a bandana. We returned, and the second bottle brought the second challenger, Ryder, a young motocross racer, 29 years old, vibrating with the nervous energy of someone who lives dodging potholes. "Savannah, I'm taking the win. They say you've got the best curves in the county." I lost. In the dark, Ryder handled his bike with reckless agility. He took the curves of my body with speed, making the pleasure feel like an illegal drag race, dangerous and exhilarating. "You fly, Savannah. You fly," he panted. The night wore on, and my body was a map of sensations, hot and throbbing. Old Barb watched me from the cash register with eyes that threw daggers, but the register was full thanks to the spectacle, so she kept her mouth shut. The third man was Wyatt, a river fisherman and oil rigger, with strong arms tanned by the sun and the smell of tobacco and catfish bait. "Savannah, I want to cast my net in that famous pond," he said, sitting down with an ice-cold beer. I lost the hand. In the hallway, Wyatt was pure intensity. He cast his net with precision, with rocking movements that reminded me of the tides of the Mississippi River. Every thrust was like hauling in a heavy net full of silver fish. I felt flooded, overflowing, begging for more as the pleasure rose like a tidal wave during hurricane season. "A sea of delights, woman," he whispered. But the danger exploded at the end of the night. Daisy dragged me toward the exit near the bathrooms. "Savannah, that's enough. Old Barb says she's calling the sheriff if you keep bringing half the town into the storage room. They're saying you've turned into a loose woman. They're betting real money on who's next." I tried to laugh, stumbling a bit in my heels. "It's just a game, Daisy. Just cards." But on Sunday, reality hit me. I couldn't stop. The line of bettors was imaginary, but my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages from Wayne, from Buck, from men I didn't even know. "Savannah, is the table open tonight? Savannah, I want to tour the back lot." I replied to Wayne with trembling fingers. "It's dangerous." "Wayne, the town talks," he replied instantly. "Danger is what makes the grass grow greener, Savannah." I knew the vice would carry me back to the bar next Friday. I knew Willow Creek was ready to turn my bets into a wildfire that would consume my reputation down to the ashes. But looking at my own reflection in the mirror, with flushed cheeks and goosebumps rising as I remembered the strength of Bo, or the speed of Chase, I knew that the padlock on the back door was broken for good. The question wasn't if I was going to bet access to my secret garden again, but who would be the brave soul to bring the right tool to destroy me with pleasure next time. And you? Have you ever made a bet where the price to pay took you to the edge of madness? Tell me about it, because here in Willow Creek, the night is just getting started, and the cards are already on the table. Thank you for making it to the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'd also love to know where you're watching my videos from. You can leave that in the comments too. Subscribe for more stories like this, and a big kiss to you all. Amen. Goodbye.